This is Sunday Focus, a weekly public affairs program that looks at the topics affecting our society and the people who are making a change in the community each and every day. The people who have vision for the next generation. Sunday Focus presents new challenges for us, keeping you informed with topics of local and regional interest. Now the host of Sunday Focus, Christine Manica.
Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Sunday Focus. My name's Christine Manica. We have an exciting and somewhat of a controversial topic to talk about today. So we wouldn't be who we are today without our health. But sometimes our healthy decisions don't necessarily help our bodies. Some of these decisions include diets, new weight loss drugs, and cutting meals out of our day. In Sioux Falls, we're pretty lucky to have amazing healthcare providers who help us live our best lives, especially for maintaining that healthy lifestyle. And joining us over the phone right now to help unmask some of those diet trends and fads is Dr. Zoilo Lansang with Avera Medical Group. He specializes in obesity medicine. Good morning, Dr. Z. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Christine. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to get talking to you today about this topic, about diets, some trends that we've been seeing over the years. And let's face it, for years, there have been diet trends and tips to lose weight. Now there are even weight loss drugs to help shed those pounds quicker in some cases. Before we get into the myths and facts about weight loss, tell us a little bit about you, Dr. Z. What's your background and what inspired you to practice medicine?
So, Christine, I'm a family medicine trained, but both board certified in obesity medicine and family medicine. I practiced primary care for almost a decade, but I decided to just purely put my attention and my energy to practice obesity medicine. What inspired me to practice medicine is the people that surrounds me, my family, my colleagues, and most importantly, the patient that I serve. All these people motivate me to be the best I can be, not just a doctor who diagnosed and treated diseases, but also a person who listens and to be compassionate with their needs.
Absolutely. And probably throughout your medical career, Dr. Z, you have noticed some interesting diet techniques and other trends to lose weight. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
There are several diets that my patient will tell me with regards to how they have lost weight in the past, from low fat, low carb, keto, Atkins, intermittent fasting, Mediterranean. There's a bunch of dietary methods that everyone have tried in the past. So there's several of them. So I always ask patients with regards to what they did and what they have been successful. Most of them will be able to do it only for a few months, and after that, they will eventually stop it.
Yeah. Have you noticed something crazy that people have done? This is a question I'm throwing at you. Maybe a diet that you wouldn't expect to hear out of the norm nowadays.
Some of my patients will go to the extreme that they will fast for several hours to even days, only to find themselves so hungry, and then they will just eat so much. So eventually, they will just defeat the purpose of having a fasting. So there's a lot of these people who will do a lot of fad diet, basically.
Basically, yes. And images of health, they've changed over the years. Instead of going in a healthy direction, more people seem to be overweight. What are some of those statistics here in South Dakota, Dr. Z?
Based on most recent CDC data, the prevalence of obesity based on self-reported weight and height is about 36.8. About 40% of South Dakotans are classified as having obesity, and it's just getting worse everywhere. It is predicted based on the most recent study back in 2019 that by around 2030, 50% of our whole population here in the U.S. will be classified have obesity, and 25% will be classified having morbid obesity.
Wow. So just from those facts alone, we're going in a wrong direction.
Definitely, Christine. The fact that the study was done in 2019, they didn't predict that there will be a COVID pandemic. What I see in my practice right now, I think we're going to reach that number before 2030.
Wow, that's insane. So, Dr. Lansing, when people come to you about weight loss, what are some of their concerns? What are some typical questions that they ask you?
So when they come to my office, there are several concerns that they ask me. But of course, the number one and the $1 million question, Doc, how can I lose weight? That is the most important question that I have to answer to them, right?
Right, exactly. So what are because not all weight loss programs fit everybody, or not a certain method fits everybody's body. Everyone's bodies are different. So how would you approach, let's say, someone that's in their mid-40s asking you that question, how can I lose weight?
So it's very important when I see the patient, I evaluate them on the different aspect of their life, from their past medical history, their medication, what kind of job they do, what kind of stresses they have currently. There's so many factors that I try to evaluate on every single patient that comes to my office. It's not just, okay, here's the medication, this will help you lose weight. I have to individualize each patient because it's hard to just standardize every patient. So a lot of factors that will play a role in my decision making is actually them as a person. I mean, every person have a different lifestyle, so I have to consider that.
Absolutely. And speaking about medication, there has been a lot of buzz around weight loss drugs. Celebrities have supported these products after seeing crazy results. These endorsements are increasing the weight loss drug sales without having enough knowledge about these products. What cautions would you provide to people considering these weight loss medications?
That's a good question, Christine. It is very important to see a board-certified obesity medicine physician to explain the disease of obesity and also the complexity of weight loss. It is true that we have all these medications that can aid. I will emphasize that medications to aid patient lifestyle changes, but we have to understand that these medications are not intended to replace it and not just to be used alone. It has to be combined with lifestyle changes.
Absolutely. And these weight loss products, they could be pills or shots, from my understanding, correct?
That is correct, Christine.
Okay. And it's all about consistency when it comes to taking these medications. For example, you finish an entire prescription without question. Some people who take weight loss medications do stop taking their shots or pills, especially around the holidays. People have been tending to do that. So how do weight loss drugs affect our bodies? What happens if you say pause your weight loss medication?
So depending on the medication that the patient is currently taking, the effect will vary based on the mechanism of action of the medication. It varies from feeling less hungry to feeling satiated easily. So if you stop this medication, all this beneficial effect of such medication will stop. So patient will start feeling hungrier, and sometimes also they feel that they need to have multiple servings.
Absolutely. And can someone be on these weight loss drugs long term, in your opinion?
Most of the actual anti-obesity medication approved by FDA are approved or can be used long term. There are some that can only be used on a certain duration, but most of the FDA approved that I am prescribing are approved for long term.
If you are just listening right now, we're being joined over the phone with Dr. Lansang. He is with the Avera Medical Group, and he specializes in obesity medicine. Now, Dr. Z, before there were weight loss drugs, diets were all the rage. What are some diet options people turn to when they want to lose weight?
So diets basically will vary from, as I mentioned before, low fat, low carb, keto, Atkins, Weight Watchers, Ideal Protein, Full 30, Mediterranean, meal replacement, intermittent fasting, and I can go on and on and on because there's so much variation as far as the diet. The only thing with the diet is when you kind of think about the word diet, people have a tendency to just use it for a period of time.
And diets can alter your well-being. There are some myths about certain diets that follow some routines. Let's see if we can debunk some of these myths here. Myth number 1. Carbs are evil and they make you fat.
Not true. depending on what kind of carbohydrates that you are taking, and also the amount of carbohydrate, that can make you fat. So it's very important to make sure that we try to avoid a lot of processed sugar and make sure that we eat a whole food carb-containing, let's say, vegetable or fruits.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Here's another one for you, doctor. All fat is bad.
Not necessarily, Christine, because there are some fats that are beneficial, such as plant-based derived fats, such as olive oil and avocado oil, which are very generally healthy and at the same time very beneficial to anyone who's using it.
And I can speak from experience. Avocado is a great fat, and I fully endorse that. Another myth for you, doctor. Coffee is unhealthy. Now, this will hurt my heart if that's true. Probably yours, too, because you were saying that you're just enjoying some right now.
Well, it depends what kind of coffee you're drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to drink black coffee, as long as it's under 4 cups, it will be good. But when you look at some of the coffee that we have that is packed with calories, some coffee will contain about 300 to about 1,000 calories. Then we're talking about something that can make someone very unhealthy.
Now, coming from my coffee drinking experience, mine's a typical iced coffee with almond milk, no sugar. That's considered healthy, right?
That is fine, Christine. That's fine.
Perfect.
As long as
Okay.
you don't drink so much of that, right?
Right, exactly. You can only have good things in small amounts.
That's right. That's right.
All right, another myth for you, doctor. Everyone should follow a gluten-free diet.
I don't think that is necessary, not unless you have gluten sensitivity or celiac disease. It's very important. I mean, with the gluten, everybody wants to do some form of gluten-free diet. It's beneficial, especially on a patient who having a lot of some gastrointestinal issues, let's say bloatedness, indigestion. They can definitely try it, but you don't have to be on a purely gluten-free diet, not unless you are experiencing or you have those kind of diseases that I mentioned.
Yeah, fair point. And one more for you, doctor. A detox diet will clean toxins out of your body. Before you answer this, what is a detox diet for anyone not familiar?
Yes, there are different forms of detox diet. When you look at it, it could be intermittent fasting, it could be lots of fluids, and it could be mainly vegetables and fruits. Those are different forms of detox diet, but the reality of it is when you look at our body as a whole, different organs in our body is actually responsible to detoxifying a lot of food that we eat. But the reality is if we overwhelm them, it will shut down. So when you look at it, detox diet is beneficial regardless, with whatever you eat. But the reality is our body have a detoxifying mechanism built into our system as long as we don't overwhelm it. So detox diet, someone can try to do it, but will they just do it for a day or two and then go back to their usual diet? Then it will just deplete the purpose of having a detox diet. So if you're going to look at diet, you want to make sure that you continue and being consistent with the food that you're eating.
Yeah, so you would say that for a detox diet that it would have to take a good, how am I trying to say it? It would have to take some good repetition in order to keep up with weight loss. So would you say
exactly
about a month for a good detox diet?
Yeah. So when you want to detox, why will you detox only for few weeks? Why will you detox for only few months? Why don't you detox for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, Dr. Lansang, what's a balanced diet weight loss program you would recommend to a patient? Maybe it is a detox diet.
Yeah. So, balanced weight loss program, when I approach it, Christine, is I always tell patients to have a balanced weight loss program is to have a balanced lifestyle. So, it's very important to make sure not just your nutrition, but the rest of the aspect of your lifestyle too.
Absolutely. There are ways to lose weight and stay healthy without the diets and other weight loss products. What are some tips you have to stay healthy?
To stay healthy is actually to maintain a very healthy lifestyle, which is basically a combination of your healthy nutrition, regular exercise, stress management, good sleep routine, avoidance of toxic substances, and social connectedness.
Absolutely. Say you haven't exercised in a while or ever. How would you tell someone to either start up their exercise again or how to even begin?
So for most of my patients, when I evaluate them, I will ask them, okay, what have you done in the past? What is fun for you? Because it doesn't take so much to start exercising. So I always tell them, start small. Let's say do a physical activity that you consistently like and you can do, just like walking, biking, swimming, and minimize sitting more than a few hours a day. And then you can progress as you tolerate. So it's very important when you try to motivate a person to exercise, you need to ask them, what do they like to do? You know, do they like walking? Do they like swimming? And sometimes if a patient likes those physical activities, they tend to maintain it.
Absolutely. And you were talking about people who sit down for a period of time, especially during the week when you're at work. So you would probably recommend taking frequent walks, maybe around the office or when it's nice outside, go outside, or just do something that's not at your desk, correct?
Definitely. I even encourage them, if you can afford to buy a standing desk. You know, when you are doing computer work and you're going to be sitting for many hours of the day, do a standing desk. Stand up and then kind of sway while you're typing your report or whatever. So standing is a pretty good exercise too.
There you go. I've even seen people use those workout balls for sitting at their desk just to kind of help them move around a little bit. There's even like that standing treadmill too that you can use, I think, too.
Definitely, Christine.
And let's say someone who is looking to lose 5 or 10 pounds. What are some healthy ways to lose that small amount of weight, in your opinion, doctor?
Yeah. To start with, I always tell them to have a healthy, well-portioned nutrition and regular physical activity. Because as we know about our problem is, we tend to eat and we tend to eat larger amount that we need.
Yes, absolutely. That's some great advice there. And one more for you to get some advice: foods to keep your diet and not to cut out. What should you do in that regard?
So I always tell patients, you always have to keep whole food, plant-based diet in your daily nutrition. That is a very important thing. You know, you don't want to cut out whole food, plant-based diet in your nutrition.
Absolutely. And I should have added this to the myths, actually. Should you always eat breakfast?
Definitely. A healthy breakfast, not donut, okay?
Not
a healthy,
donuts.
hearty breakfast, whole food breakfast. Because most of us who work during the day, the most important part of our life is we need to understand that our energy that we use during the time that we are awake. And most of us works during the day. So therefore, we need most of our energy during the day, not on the time that we are going to be sleeping.
Absolutely. If you are just listening, we're being joined over the phone for a little bit longer with Dr. Lansang of Avera Medical Group. He specializes in obesity medicine. And doctor, before we let you go, the bottom line here is, are weight loss drugs safe? Are diets safe?
Okay, there are two questions in there. So I'm going to address each question
Perfect.
to clarify the matter, okay? So are weight loss drugs safe? Yes, they are, as long as it is appropriately prescribed and tailored to each patient by someone who is knowledgeable about these drugs. Number two, are diets safe? When I talk about diet, I'm not really in favor of the word diet because it has a connotation that you're just going to be doing it only for about a few months or a few weeks. So I always tell patients it's all about nutritional changes. What I will recommend is having nutritional change that can be maintained by a patient for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. And Dr. Lansang, I think we learned a lot today about staying healthy and good healthy habits. And I know we only have so much time, but if anybody has any questions for you about living a healthier life or other tips to stay healthy, what's a good email or phone number to reach you at?
They can call Avera Comprehensive Weight Management at 605-504-0400. And where, you can schedule an appointment. You don't have to have a referral from your primary care doctor. And if you're interested with our services not all about medication and surgery. We always emphasize a lot of lifestyle changes. So if a patient decided, hey, I don't want to do medication, I don't want to do surgery, can I just do a lifestyle changes? And we have a whole team of very good people that is helping this journey of weight loss to every one of our patients.
Wonderful. And anything else you'd like to add, doctor, about weight loss or healthy tips?
I think it's very important for us to realize that losing weight is not just all about our nutrition. There are so many factors that will affect our nutrition, which include our physical activity, our stress, our sleep, our substance that we drink or eat, and also our social connectedness. So it's a symphony of strategy that can help the patient not just to lose weight, but to maintain the weight. So one of the things that I always tell my patient, you have to do combination to maintain a particular weight, because if you're just relying on one aspect of your lifestyle changes, mainly nutrition or just mainly depending on medication, most likely that you will just rebound your weight, which have been happening for a lot of my patients.
Wonderful advice there. Dr. Lansang with Avera Medical Group, thanks so much for giving us a little bit of your time today and for hanging out with us for a bit.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for having me here.
When you lie your baby down to sleep on their back, they may imagine their popcorn ceiling looks like the Arctic terrain from their favorite book. Even if they don't, lying on their back is the safest way for them to sleep when they're alone in their crib. When we help our babies sleep safe, we help them wake safe, looking up at your smiling face. For more information on safe sleep, visit a Department of Health office near you. Learn more at doh.sd.gov. This message is brought to you by the SD Department of Health, the SD broadcasters, and this station.
Welcome back to Sunday Focus. I am joined in the studio from Hope Haven Marketing Manager Brooke Koima. I said that right?
Yep, that's correct.
There we go. She is going to talk to us about the organization and lots of exciting events coming up. First of all, Brooke, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's always nice to have someone back in the studio face to face. I've mentioned this before. Let's talk about Hope Haven. What is your organization all about?
Hope Haven is a nonprofit organization that provides services and support for people with disabilities. Our services are comprehensive. We have a really big umbrella, so we do a lot of different things that cover a lot of aspects of a person's life. That's vocational, so connecting people with job opportunities, housing, so that's direct care in homes. We have an international ministries program, so we do a lot of different things. And individual choice is really key in all of our services, empowering people to have a productive life of their choosing in their own communities.
What about people that benefit from this program? So when people come in to Hope Haven, what is their number one priority that they're looking for from you guys?
Yeah, so it really varies based on individual need. Our largest service program at the moment is community living. We have over 60 community living residences in Northwest Iowa and Southwest Minnesota. But like I said, it really varies based on that person's needs. And our international ministries program has their distribution center in Sioux Falls. And that program has delivered over 130,000 wheelchairs in 109 countries. So, and they estimate that there are millions of people around the world who still need a wheelchair and can't access one. So that program has a really great need, and a lot of people tap into that and work with us on that program. So
I should have mentioned in the beginning that this is part of the Sioux Empire. So you have a location in Iowa.
Yes.
And then is there also an office located in Sioux Falls?
Yeah. So our headquarters are in Rock Valley, Iowa, but our international ministries is headquartered in Sioux Falls.
You were talking about the wheelchair ministry just now. How many wheelchairs, just so I can figure that out, how many wheelchairs would you say you distribute a year?
It really depends. Anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 wheelchairs, probably.
Can you talk about some experiences that people have had with Hope Haven?
So our organization was founded in 1964, so there's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, especially in the Sioux Empire, have been on a trip with us, or they have volunteered at one of our wheelchair workshops. And that basically, working in a wheelchair workshop entails refurbishing wheelchairs that are donated. So if someone has a wheelchair that they no longer use, they'll donate it to our organization, and our volunteers will refurbish it to like new, and then it'll be donated to someone in need. So locally, people help us refurbish those wheelchairs. And then there's also opportunities for people to go on trips with us to places like Vietnam and Guatemala and Romania and be a part of that process where they're personally giving a wheelchair to somebody in need. So those are some really great experiences. There's so many stories, but when you're there in that country and you're seeing the person get that life-changing gift of a wheelchair, it's really incredible.
It's probably really rewarding for you on your end just to see it all unfold.
Definitely. You see the whole process right there.
Things have changed with COVID-19 too, and there really isn't an area that hasn't been affected in some way. Nonprofits and organizations like Hope Haven especially have been hurting during this difficult time.
Yeah, things really were put on pause with that. We had one of our last trips in March, and then things really came to a halt on that. Behind the scenes, we were still collecting wheelchairs, and our volunteers were safely working when they could on refurbishing them. But yeah, we didn't have a lot of trips last year, so we're excited when things start opening back up to get back out there and get those wheelchairs distributed to people in those countries. So
when COVID first became a reality, what were your thoughts personally and as an organization?
Yeah, wow. Difficult time for everyone, especially in our nonprofit and what we do. Locally, we provide direct care, so that's super challenging because the work that we do that way doesn't stop and people can't work from home. And then our wheelchair ministry, just all of those trips being paused, and it's really difficult, but I would say our leadership was really innovative and coming up with solutions, and all of our employees, it was such a team effort of following all those procedures and being a really united front in order to come through it all. But yeah, what a difficult, strange time, because our team really acted and collaborated to come up with those safety procedures in terms of all of our different service programs, whether that be local or international, like pausing some of those trips. Mm-hmm. And then on our fundraising aspect of things with our events, figuring out, do we cancel this? Do we reschedule it? So that was an interesting thing to navigate all of those challenges. Thankfully, we were able to hold some of our summer events that were outside. Mm-hmm. The ones that we postponed, we did have in the summer and the fall, but they just looked different, right? Less people there, mask safety procedures like that. So we were able to pivot with some of those events, but yeah, it was just a challenging thing to restructure those events. But so a few of them were canceled, a few of them were restructured and postponed.
If you are just listening, Brooke from Hope Haven, she is joining me in the studio. How crucial are these events and fundraisers for an organization like Hope Haven? Fundraising
events are huge for us. We have about a dozen events throughout the year. So events are a huge part of our fundraising efforts. So, and not only is it a great way for us to raise funds, but it's just a great way to get the community involved and aware of what we do. It connects people with volunteering opportunities. So there's just a number of ways that events are really critical to our fundraising efforts.
Absolutely. And just like events like the auction and other programs you put on at Hope Haven, you need help. So what are volunteer opportunities that are offered at Hope Haven?
Yeah, there's a number of different ways that people can volunteer and get involved with Hope Haven. We have a list of all of those on our website, hopehaven.org/volunteer. And it depends on the location that you're at, but in Sioux Falls specifically, we have opportunities to help at our Sioux Falls headquarters, our international ministries. So you can get involved by helping refurbish those wheelchairs. You can also help us load up for shipments, organize. There's administrative tasks. So there's a lot of information on our website about how you can help out that way and sign up.
For more information, you've set the website already a couple of times, more information about Hope Haven. Remind everyone the website.
Yeah, check out hopehaven.org for more information on all of our events.
All right, awesome. Brooke Koima with Hope Haven, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sunday Focus is a public affairs program of Results Radio Town Square Media, Sioux Falls.